Tish! Tish tish!
One of the most important things when making a show is knowing what it is. Who are you making this for? Is it going to be entertaining? I can watch a show like Breaking Bad and acknowledge that on a writing, directing and storytelling level it is at the top of its game. But I can also watch a show like Kitchen Nightmares with a big old bag of popcorn and have equally as good a time, especially if I'm in the right mood for it. Not every show has to be a deep, philosophical masterpiece. Sometimes it's fun to just kick back for a few hours with some characters that I love, and that's why I love Cobra Kai. Because despite being one of Netflix's most popular shows, it's never really lost that underdog charm that made it so lovable in the first place. Everything feels so serious now. Everything's washed out, muddy. We're getting adult versions of stuff which no one ever asked for. So to have this show about karate, which is full of colour and pretty feel good most of the time, is such a breath of fresh air. Cobra Kai feels like it was ripped straight out of the 80s.
Farewell, my friends. I go on to a better place. Gotcha.
And it should, because it's a sequel series to some cheesy but great 80s action movies. It doesn't try and act like this dark, serious show because it isn't. And they don't try and hide away from the fact that it was made in the 80s, which many can agree was a bit less of a politically correct time. Johnny is unapologetically himself.
Great, more immigrants.
He calls women babes and chicks and isn't afraid to call someone a pussy.
A method of fighting your pussy generation desperately needs.
And you shouldn't do this, but he's a character who was a jock in high school during the 80s, who hasn't evolved much since that time. Of course he would talk like this. If the show started and Johnny was this wise, reformed man, then what would be the show? What would his arc be? A lot of television nowadays, in fear of making a character who is in any way toxic, make their characters boring by going the complete opposite way. And Johnny's never trying to be an arsehole. He just grew up surrounded by a lot of bad influences. At his heart, he's trying to do the right thing, but he isn't perfect, and that's what makes him likeable. Which brings me to callbacks. How many times have we gotten a modern version of an old franchise and almost the entire peel is just callbacks and references? Let's take a look back at Kenobi. That entire show basically just boils down to bad decisions and callbacks. Oh shit, remember when Kenobi said hello there? You guys remember the meme, right? The meme? Remember how much of a snarky, powerful, badass Princess Leia was? Well, here's a young Leia. Turns out she's been running rings around people since she was 6 years old, even if the person she's running rings around is a grown ex-military general with extreme combat and strategy skills. Fuck that guy. So if you strip back the callbacks, then you really have nothing.
I've got nothing left! I've got nothing left!
Wait, what was I talking about again? Oh yeah, Cobra Kai. But with Cobra Kai, when there is a callback, it serves the story. For example, the wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off is iconic in cinema, and when you think of karate training, it's the first thing that my mind goes to. In case you don't know, and I'm sure you do, wax on, wax off is where Mr. Miyagi got little old Daniel to wax his fence on and off, over and over, time and time again, and gave him muscle memory, so when he was attacked, the action kicked into gear and his training had paid off. In Cobra Kai, Danny uses a similar technique to wax on, wax off to teach Robbie, but he puts his own spin on it. It's not just copy-paste, it's LaRusso taking his technique and modernising it, which is exactly what Cobra Kai did to Karate Kid. It has all the same themes and tone, but just modern. Another reason that Cobra Kai has lasted so long and kept my attention and excitement for this amount of time is that it humanises every character. I mean, there are characters who do more wrong than others, like Terry, but you always understand where they're coming from. A lot of the tension and feuds come from characters seeing stuff from different perspectives, like Johnny and Danny. I mean, that was the original premise for the show, showing how, really, there's another side to the Karate Kid.
What is your problem?
Look, why don't you just take your little Cobra Kais and get out of here?
Oh,
right?
yeah, right. And that's gonna solve everything.
But LaRusso kept butting it.
What's going on?
Yeah, just get all right.
Told him to get lost, mind your own business. Out of nowhere, the guy sucker punches.
What an asshole.
I know, man. I did what any dude would do. I defended myself.
And seeing all of these actors return and these enemies turn into friends is just so wholesome. And when you're watching the show, you know in your mind that these people would never be able to beat up this amount of people. You're rooting for the characters so much that you don't even care. But seriously, someone needs to call the police. These people are way too into karate. I mean, there's being competitive and then there's this. I mean, these people fight over anything and everything. There's so much drama and beef and beefy drama, so when characters finally do team up and work together, it's like, yes, my boys. And with season 5 just hitting Netflix, I was worried that it would lose some focus, with Miguel, Robbie and Johnny all in Mexico, but I think the writers realised that having 3 karate champs going up against Mexican gangsters with guns would push that cheesiness just a bit too far, and so they get them all back to California pretty quick. They bring it back to what the heart of the show is, all these likeable rounded out characters interacting with each other. The history, the beefs, the romances. These people can't walk down the street without fighting or fucking, and I love it. But more than that, this season really focused on family.
I got family.
Spoilers, we find out that Johnny and Carmen are going to have a baby, and this is a great way to connect all of the most interesting key players. Carmen is Miguel's mum, and Johnny is Robbie's dad, so now they all have some kind of family connection to each other. Also, I would die for Chosen. He's just so charismatic. Any scene he's in, he steals.
Literally cut his head off.
They're not for cutting. They're for blocking and stabbing and clawing and gouging.
And when he gets slashed up, I actually thought he might be dead, and I kept thinking, can someone please check on Chosen? Where's Chosen? I want Chosen. Where's my sweet baby Chosen? And thank God he made it. I really hope he sticks around next season, because he just elevated every scene he's in.
Gotta get you to a hospital.
Oh, just a fresh wound.
Yeah, but it's like all your flesh.
Because he's from Okinawa, he's got this big fish out of water vibes.
Can you open your jacket to me? No weapons allowed. You can pick them up when you leave.
And his menacing and wise one-liners just add to the cheesiness of the whole thing. And as always, fuck Sam, I hate her. She was slightly more tolerable this season for about 2 minutes, but she is constantly the worst character on this show. And for Robbie, who is my previous most hated, they really made him actually quite likeable this season. It always struck me as crazy how he never apologised to Miguel for nearly paralysing him when sticking up for himself, and then continued to try and fight him every time they saw each other. But this season we get that apology. And it just felt like finally these two boys are becoming buds. But yeah, I just wanted to give my thoughts on this season while I got your attention. Howdy. So I'm about 3 months into YouTube at the moment, and there was a period where I was kind of stressing me out because I was struggling to write scripts. I was a bit ill, and I just didn't really know what I wanted to talk about, you know, where I was going to take my channel. I mean, it's only 3 months, so it's like, you know, still early days, but I'm really enjoying it for the time being. It's hard work, but it's fun hard work, if that makes any sense. I mean, I film all of these on my iPhone, and so that's why the quality's not very good on the camera, so I think soon I'll be able to afford a proper camera and some actual lights, because it's fucking dark in here. But yeah, my goal is to just keep improving, you know, keep getting the quality up. So whether you've been here for the whole journey or a few videos, or you've just popped into this to say hi, then thank you, I love you, goodbye.